Good evening, everyone. Welcome to AdventureCheck, where intelligence is our dump stat.
Okay, personal attack wasn't necessary.
Thank you all for joining us this evening. We will be continuing our weekly campaign of the Darkening of Mirkwood here shortly. I hope everyone had a fantastic weekend. Myself, I am tired. So we are going to be fumbling through this on the DM side of things, but it shall be fun and exciting nonetheless. So stick with us throughout tonight. We'll have an announcement after our break later on, but for right now, let us fire up some musique from the bards that do battle.
Yes. You might call them war bards.
I didn't know you could do that to a man with a violin, but I was impressed.
Hey, you know, improvised weapons. And do have fun with all the D&D based commands tonight that I've been working on.
Oh my god, there's a whole list.
We're gonna end up just having chat play D&D in chat.
Yeah,
That's
really.
what this is heading toward.
That'll be a feat of an undertaking, honestly. Paul, you polymorphed yourself. That's just, you hate to see it.
I love it.
You hate to see it.
Brian, I hate to see it. Lindsay, I love it. That just sums up you two fucking perfectly.
So, let us get right into it tonight with a bit of recap, which might be longer than I've been trying to do, so you better not dock me on this. So, last we left off, we had 3 companions travel down to Sunstead and partake in a ceremony that honored the long-forgotten kings of old of the Northmen, for Seowyn the Generous, seemingly saving him from being in the thrall of a woodwight. They were hailed as heroes of woodmen and Sunstead themselves, and 2 of them settled down there for a moment, plotting up their land, until the company split, heading off in 3 seemingly separate directions to undertake their own goals. One returned to Rivendell to study under a master of artificing and blacksmithing. The other stayed behind in Sunstead to train up a couple of the individuals are there to bring a better defensive standing force among the woodmen settlement. And the third took some time in nature to reflect on what had happened, and then promptly returned to Dale, and some say he even earned a job. Some say. There's no proof of this. And the time passed, and our story continues tonight with a shot at a clear blue sky with a large eagle circling high above. And we see now that we are in a settlement in the mountains among the woodmen.
Bless you.
Specifically, some
I
would
was muted,
recognize...
right?
You were.
Okay, I want to. Sorry.
But Lindsay's got to call attention to it while I'm talking.
I was being nice.
There's no room for niceties here.
Thank
Why
you.
am I
Lindsay,
here
appreciate
then?
you.
Some would recognize this settlement known as Mountain Hall, a woodman town that has been tucked away into the eastern side of the Misty Mountains, and for the past 3 years has been growing under new leadership. And the town itself seems to be expanding, with several homes being propped up and the walls being pushed further out ever so slightly. And here we begin just a couple dozen feet from the main gate of Mountain Hall, as traders are coming and going in the spring of 2952 of the Third Age. Wagons, caravans, all walks of life, it seems. Elves, other men of the West. But we find standing across on the opposite side of a small bridge with a brook flowing beneath it, a dwarf. A stout dwarf named Vidar. Vidar, you find yourself mere moments away from seeing one of your long friends again. What would you like to do?
So, Vidar just, he hefts his hammer on his over his shoulder, and he sighs, furrows his brow at the people about, and he says, well, let's get things started. And he begins the trek up to the main hall, where he hopes to find his allies, having received this letter summoning him from the Great Elf.
Yes, Vidar has returned to Mountain Hall after some time of remaining in the Grey Delve. Was reclaimed recently, roughly a year ago, and the dwarves have held it ever since, though there has been some quarrel in there, and has been the appearance of some form of isolationism between the settlement of the Grey Dwarves, the Grey Delve. And Vidar, you make your way up the path that winds the mountain as it narrows a little bit closer to the walls of Mountain Hall. The gates are wide open with a couple of guards standing by, draped in leathers and furs, large bows on their backs and axes at their sides. You do recognize one guard at the front as to your eyes, a young woman by the name of Avana, captain of the guard of Mountain Hall.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He recognizes you as well and greets you and allows you entry with the passing word that Nela is expecting you. You come into the main thoroughfare of Mountain Hall with the markets being set up and the shops and the trade crafts opening for the day and beginning their daily routines. And you trudge through the crowd, making your way even more so up the mountain, up to another plateau where a longhouse sits, with two braziers on either side lit, and atop that, on the platform above, are two guards standing ready at the door, though the door is wide open and you can see inside as you come up the stairs, flickering lights inside, and a small bonfire lit in the main center of the longhouse. You walk inside, and as you do, it takes a moment for your eyes sort of to adjust to the change in lighting, and you're able to make out everything inside. There's a couple of individuals moving about that seem to be assistants, your typical maid hands. But on the other side of the fire, you see a large, intimidating figure sitting atop a wooden throne, and a sort of wood staff implanted in the ground that comes up and forms like a small T to her right. And as you take another step in, a loud squawk pierces the air, and a figure shoots in through one of the open windows and beats out its wings and reaches out with its talons and grabs right onto that post and comes to a settled stance and rests there, as you recognize this as the Eagle Haru. and another individual you see sitting off of the platform, just underneath a cloaked and hooded figure from behind. But you have a feeling you know who this is as well. The scene is yours.
So as Vidar enters, he'll start crossing the longhouse to join his old companions. But something, if you look at Vidar, you'll see he's changed just a little bit. His beard is a lot more kempt now, and it's sort of braided with new dwarven runes carved in stone holding it together. And he's wearing just regular clothes too. He's not wearing any armor. And he has a smaller pack on his back than usual. And but he still has his same hammer that you saw him last time. But with that, Vidar will continue crossing the longhouse, passing the fire, and he'll call out, Nela, Maethon, it's been some time.
Wow.
Wait, I'm in there?
Yes, you are.
Yes, you are.
I totally missed that part. That I didn't hear Maethon was in there.
Well, if it isn't the Iron Dwarf himself.
I guess it is, isn't it?
Long time no see, my friend.
You look tougher than ever.
Yeah, defending my title at the Iron Warg certainly helped with that.
You're still doing that?
Sometimes, when they annoy me enough to actually come down and fight a fight. But,
Oh, you definitely give a show. I'll tell you that much.
I'd certainly like to see it sometime.
well, honestly, it's become more of a chore lately than anything else.
A chore? I figured you would have lived for that kind of thing.
People
People chanting the Iron Dwarf, you fighting everything on Middle Earth. What more do you want?
A lot of stuff has happened since we've last met, especially in the Grey Delve. There's a lot of things I want to put right.
Is that why you called us? Or sent the letter to me and then had me fetch Maethon here too?
Did I send the letter?
That's what Brian told me.
Vidar, you received the letter from...
Who's Brian?
Vidar, you received the letter requesting your presence. You dispatched one of your own to Nela, and Nela sent one to get Maethon.
My eyes just ran right over that part, and Vidar just smacks his head, and he says, "Oh yes, of course I sent the letter. It's the letter moved faster than I have. It's been quite a journey. I honestly forgot that I had written it, but yeah, our dwarven friend from the Fork Moot, he is finally calling up on the aid that was promised, and I hope this might be a good first step to figuring out and solving the problems at home. And so, why don't we
it just never ends there, does it?
We see if we can find Boffrey. Now, what do you mean by that, Maethon?
Seems like we're always drawn back to that place somehow. Or something regarding that place.
Alright, before we start a fight here, why don't we find some
Not
food
starting a fight.
since Vidar just got here. And have some drinks, we can all relax, and we can all talk about this.
The answers I seek do not lie in the Grey Delve any longer. But I will take you up on that offer, Nela.
Come on.
I could definitely use a drink.
Everything's on me today.
But isn't
then-
this your place?
Well,
Okay.
yes, that's why I said it's on me.
Want to make sure.
Oh, by the way, the moment the three of them are close enough, she's gonna punch both of them in the shoulders. What the hell did you do to my emissary? She comes back after traveling with you guys, and she is not the same person. That bright-eyed little rider of Rohan that's 10 years younger than me suddenly comes back and is like a ghost of herself. The hell did you guys do to her?
Nela, look at me. Look at this fucking dwarf. Do you have to ask that question?
I guess we all look like shit, don't we?
Wasn't going there, but you know it's gonna be a rough trip with us.
You know, I actually like my new clothes.
Well, come on. Let's get some drinks. I know Haru is probably hungry after his trip that he just returned from, too. He's missed you, by the way, Maethon. A little too much.
I've missed him as well.
Alright,
And then
so...
is Haru like anywhere near Maethon or the company, or is he still like on his little perch?
He's still on his perch.
Fine, be that way.
But he's eyeing you. He's like expecting something from you and for you to get closer to him.
You know what? I'm gonna try some. I'm gonna do some Steve Irwin shit. I'm gonna try and put my arm up, and hopefully he flies to it.
Give me an animal handling check.
What's my bird?
Hey, he was. He's my bird by proxy. How about that?
The Fellowship's bird.
Yeah.
He did give you advantage a lot in combat.
Yeah. He saved my butt so many times.
18. You hold out your arm, and Haru sort of cocks ahead, pecks at his feathers, and looks over at you, and then opens his wings and sort of hops up over to Nela's shoulders and like nudges her forehead with his face, and then flaps down to your arm.
And then I'm gonna just kind of like just pet and stroke his feathers. Yes, it's been a long time, also, my friend.
Well, if you're gonna keep doing that with him, I better get you one of some protection for your arm there. And you can see with Nela's armor, it still hides and leather from her typical woodman attire, but you can tell it's a little bit more decorated to show that she's slightly more of a higher status, so to speak, being chieftain. But you can see from like her shoulders all the way down one arm, just because of the sheer size of Haru, in order to hold up the bird, the whole arm and shoulders are just covered in hard leather for the talons.
Oh, yeah.
Totally makes sense.
Yes, because the bird itself is probably just a little smaller than Vidar in terms of height. It's a big fucking animal.
He is thick boy.
Technically medium-sized, because that
I
was
was gonna say
that was the stat block it was reskinned from.
a dwarf-sized boyd.
Yes.
All right.
I'll just pet his feathers, and then if he wants to fly back to his perch, he can.
Flies back.
So I feel like my arm is like ah.
Yeah, you get used to it.
Considering
Well,
the weight, considering the
not like
weight
the yeah, it's more
alone
the weight.
on that arm.
Yeah, just the weight.
I was
Like,
gonna say,
shoulder-
what's the average weight of a dwarf, and is that Haru's weight?
No, that's not. That can't be Haru's weight.
If he's dwarf-sized. Anyways, all right. So Nela's gonna lead everyone over and start heading them to a local eatery with food and ale to treat them to.
Your local Donatos.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a small tavern not far from the Chieftain Longhouse that you lead them inside. You find a quiet place. After a moment, 3 mugs of mead come over to get you guys started.
So, it's been what? How long?
Since the folk moot or since something else?
Vidar, can you breathe while you do that?
Vidar just chugs the mead.
Man.
Maethon just kind of follows.
It's been 3 years since the folk moot.
Okay.
Hold on.
So, how are things, everyone? Seems peachy already based on what we've already briefly discussed back at the Longhouse.
If
It's been a time.
by peachy you mean a steaming pile of shite, then yeah.
Alright, why don't you go first? What's up?
Friar, have you not heard?
Oh, that I did hear. I figured that had to do part of it, but at the same time, news only travels so far from there to here.
Ever since
And I've
Friar,
been occupied with a lot of other things.
ever since Friar was assassinated by those men, and he spits on the ground as he says that word.
I just grabbed my drink. Love you too, buddy.
The Grey Delve has fallen into disarray and infighting.
And you want that resolved?
I want to find every single person who is tangentially responsible for this. And I want to bury my hammer in their chest.
Maethon just kind of gets like a little smile going.
I don't know how to ask this. I want to. How vastly different does Vidar's demeanor seem to Nela since the last time they were together?
Probably very, I mean, it's probably very different.
Like, is this more of a stern, darker kind of tone as opposed to the almost jovial Vidar that she's used to?
Yeah. I'll just say yeah for now.
Okay. Well, I get it.
So that's what's been going on with me. What about the pair of you?
Feel like it's the same thing every day since the folk moot. No one has listened to us then about what we've seen and experienced with their shadow, and no one will listen now despite potentially new occurrences, I suppose. It's like talking to a wall. I'd rather punch it.
I've done my fair share of that.
What have you been up to, Maethon? You haven't said much yet.
I figured I'd let the two of you go first. But settled down in Mirkwood. I almost said Rivendell. Settled down in Mirkwood. Was fine there for a little bit until I started experiencing these nightmares. Haven't been able to sleep a wink in the past couple months. It's all been about the same dream, getting progressively worse and worse. Just seeing a wasteland And then eventually that just turned into seeing shadows over that wasteland.
I'm sorry.
Just
What?
seemed way too. Yeah.
This happened when?
Been a regular dream past couple months or so.
Wasteland. Sky with clouds. Can't breathe.
To be fair, sky does have clouds.
Shut up, Maethon. You know what I mean.
Guessing.
Can I get another mead over here, please?
I just go.
Do you feel like you can't breathe and you're being watched and that's when you wake up?
Yes.
Right away, sir. Meat coming up.
Well, that's great.
Let me guess. You've been having the same?
The past... You know, I've lost count. I don't know how long it's been. Longer than that, maybe. Camera, focus on my face.
The fuck?
Way too long. I don't...
Well, you two might enjoy this. Maybe not. Mogdred finally called on his deal.
Oh, did he? You know, honestly, I feel a little left out not having these dreams, but you know what's happening in reality. It seems
Count
worth.
yourself lucky.
So you went and saw Mordred again?
What does he want from me?
No, I personally didn't see him. I just got a summons from him. He wanted me to go to Sunstead and take care of some stuff there. Personally, I didn't see him. Didn't even see a hint of him or his army.
This army doesn't do anything but sit in southern Mirkwood complaining about how they're treated.
Wait, and do what in Sunstead?
Just wanted me to have a chat with Seowyn.
About what?
I don't know, you tell me. It's just, Mogdred just kind of does his own thing. He wanted me to go and just talk with him, negotiate with him.
Did you go? You're talking in past tense.
I did. I did go. I did talk to Seowyn. He kind of dismissed it. I considered there my oath fulfilled, and now I'm here.
Is that how these oaths work? You do just enough that you consider it fulfilled and you're good to go?
I didn't see him. He didn't give me much to go off of. I went in. I did what he wanted me to do. Seowyn did his thing. Oath fulfilled. I left.
What thing did Seowyn do?
Just went in to try to convince him to strengthen up his defenses, and he just kind of dismissed it, saying he was fine. Sunstead was fine.
What?
Sounds like a waste of a favor to me.
That can't be it. There's no way that's it. Are you sure you're done with him or he's done with you? What if he comes back? What if you let... Wait.
I did what I set out to do. Mogdred didn't confirm anything of the sort. So I went in, I talked to Seowyn, advised him to strengthen up Sunstead. He dismissed it. I left. I can't make people do things.
Mogdred told... Making sure I understand before I drink my entire ale here. Mogdred told you to talk to Seowyn about strengthening up his people, his town, his area.
I went in to
that's just
suggest
your
that.
own.
I went in to suggest that. Mogdred suggested that he was trying to move in on Tyrant's Hill. Not that. He's already there. He's trying to move in on Sunstead.
Oh, really? Okay, so how soon, with how many, and I wish you started with that. if he's about to move in on Sunstead, I have to get ready over here.
He didn't say when, where. Kind of sounds very similar to the Folkmoots, where he came in last time and wanted to be pretty much let in. That's what it sounds almost like to me, looking for support. And we know how Mogdred is when people deny him.
Yeah, he's a child.
Is that other mead, sir?
Oh, thank you. And
Give me
just start-
another!
Another one coming up!
I just started pounding this one too.
Nela finishes
I'll
first.
take. Can I yell? Make that 3?
3 another meads coming up!
So, okay, so how long ago was this, Maethon? Was this like... Obviously this wasn't just yesterday, because Sunstead's way on the other side of Mirkwood. When... If you didn't get the... If I didn't send the letter for you to come here, when would we have known about this?
Whenever I ran into you next.
I cannot go against this man if I don't know anything, and he keeps being like one step ahead of me.
Have you found that he's consistently one step ahead of you?
Pretty much feels like it. But even so, I still can't get other people to see my way of thinking about this guy. Yes, no one trusted him basically, but no one sees him enough as a threat to disturb this current peace to do something about it. Minor border dispute, my ass.
The man clearly wants to unify something, but under his banner and for whatever purposes that he wishes. Whether it's good or bad, I'm willing to lean towards bad. But it sounds like he wants to get many people under him as possible, and those who will go against him will not survive to see the process. Kind of ominous when he left. Kind of ominous when he left the Folkmoot last time. So I'm only going to imagine what he's going to do to a small settlement of Sunstead.
Well, he's already almost been isolating isn't the word, but those who have been trying to travel between here and Sunstead and Eastbite have kept running into them, and they've been causing issues in terms of travel. Now everyone has deemed the elf path the safest route to go, which obviously takes significantly longer than trying the original idea. So he's already been trouble. But again, no one sees it.
I think that brings us back to
I consider my
Balfrey.
oath to him fulfilled. I came in to help. I did what he asked me to do. Oath fulfilled.
Balfrey wants to reopen the old forest road and make it safe for travel again.
That runs through the same region, doesn't it?
The old forest road? The same region
Yeah.
as what?
Like southern Mirkwood or the Narrows, or am I off in my
No,
head?
it's just north of Woodland Hall. It cuts through from where the old fort is, and then connects just at the southern tip of the Long Marshes.
Oh, gotcha.
So it would be closer than the Elf Path.
Ow. But not as close as cutting through the Narrows?
No, it wouldn't, because the Narrows would be from, like, if I could draw
my
a
ruler?
box. Where's my box?
These are the
Looking for
Narrows.
Yeah.
Freehand, yeah.
Oh,
So
am I
that would be
not
around there.
remembering?
The Elf Path is up here,
Yeah,
and then the old forest road is here.
yeah. But
So
people were originally trying
Boom!
to go
Got your forest
through-
road here.
yeah, I mean, ideally they were initially looking for a path potentially through
Yeah.
the narrows of the forest, which was already inherently dangerous to connect Sunstead and the Black Tarn. But that ultimately became deemed just not worth it, and the safest route is the Elf Path in the
Yep.
north.
Okay, making sure I understand everything.
I mean, it's not a direct path, but even reopening the old forest road will shorten the trip considerably.
Yeah. As long as certain people don't interfere with it.
If they do, we kill them.
I wish it was that simple. Politics. This whole thing of politics ever since becoming chieftain, I swear, sometimes it was easier just being exiled.
My hammer will show everybody politics.
I can live without it, personally.
So anyways, I suppose enough about this man who has been a bane of existence to at least the two of us. Why did you send the letter, Vidar?
There's Balfrey.
Oh, right.
Wants
You
to
said
open.
that.
Yeah, we
already-
talked with him at the folk moot.
You know, I still randomly forget things that are said like 30 seconds ago ever since Maethon and I went up to, what was it, the Withered Heath? I don't even know. Dumb dragon.
But I
Still want to
figured
go fight that dragon.
you and Maethon would be interested in this.
Will there be fighting?
They'll be fighting, and we gotta go through Mirkwood. I don't know what.
I'm gonna hold my me cup up to him, and I'm gonna cheers. I'm in.
Hey, you
I
still
take
with
my
what's her
second
face?
empty cup and clink it against your cup.
Then I'll just take a drink, and then I'll look at Nela. She said that. What's her face?
Well, what's her name? The elf.
Ruthiel.
Ruthiel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing public, but we try to keep things quiet due to her station. But yes,
Station. What's she now?
still a captain.
Yeah.
But
you
she wants
weren't
more.
there.
She wants. Said she. Oh, she was. Oh, I forgot.
It was Thea.
Pick a different vowel and like name lettering, because like Nela and Thea, I'm like who
Sorry.
who was where?
Nelia, Thea, Nela.
Enelya's a little bit more like different. Like it's at least like not four same letters.
I do have other characters, at least in D&D, with different name composition, just not yet here in
Probably
Vidor.
Mia and
No.
yeah, but with Ruthiel being the captain of the Elven King's Guard, she figured it would be a little better that we keep things a little more private.
Sounds complicated.
It works.
Okay. All right. Well.
Whatever works for you. But hey, honestly, glad it works out.
Yeah. Gotta have some sort of peace and quiet during some of this
It's a silver lining.
madness of sort. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
nice having a little bit of redemption
Redemption.
after taking care of my father.
Oh, they did.
Here are those other
mention
meads
that.
you ordered.
Uh-huh. Give me.
God damn it, you were not Nela in that scenario.
Yeah, I mean, Thea didn't tell me too much. The moment she came back from the Great Elf with you guys, she, was pretty off. Nightmares and whatnot, and just, like I said, she came back being like a ghost of herself, so she, took leave in his home.
Well, long story short,
That's a long way.
turns out my father
She's got a horse.
was corrupting other Dunedain Rangers, dead ones or ones that just got lost, corrupted them into dark ranges, and eventually we made our way into the Great Elf. Turns out he was the big guy in charge. I made him not the big guy in charge anymore.
That sucks.
He turned his back on us. Not that he was much of a father anyway.
Have you found out what corrupted them? Is there a cause?
Don't remember, did we? Not from what I saw.
I don't
But,
remember
and then
if we found out what corrupted the Dark Rangers.
Yeah, I don't think we did. I couldn't remember if we did or not.
I was
But-
curious. It's not.
I
It's
did
not
get a
the first
keepsake
time.
from it. I'm gonna unhook a sword from my belt and I'm gonna put it kind of like on the table in front.
Yeah, so
This-
there's
Was my father's.
Charming.
So you guys see a long sword that is sort of like a dulled silver look with like hues of like gray and black throughout, and the hilt is wrapped in sort of a red leather.
Please open the door. Can I examine the craftsmanship to see what it's made out of? Since I am proficient with blacksmith. I'm a liar. I'm not proficient with blacksmith tools. Ignore me. Never mind.
I will do just that.
Vidar is proficient with a lot of tools, which is what threw me off. But it was miners, cartographers, herbalism, jewelers, and drum.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's not made of stone. You can't use your stone cunning.
Yeah.
What kind of Flintstones weapon do I have coming out just like a stone sword?
Well, I was just curious. I mean, it's not the first time running into a corrupted person.
Yeah, but when it's your father, it's a little bit more closer to home. Hopefully with this sword, I can make up for some of the wrongs he did. I'm gonna take it off the table and put it back on my belt.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to me. I was supposed to marry the guy I had to kill. That's why I was exiled.
Maethon just kind of goes like a little wide-eyed for a second, just goes into his drink.
I guess it was too long to remember that story. That's fine. Anyways, you know...
No, I just kind of forgot about that.
Whatever. I don't talk about it too much. Past 2 lives ago? Something like that. Anyways, I, for one, think getting out of Mountain Hall for a little bit will, do me some good, so I'm in Vidar. I'm sure Avana can, help take care of some things, and thanks to a certain bird that I have, I can keep communications up to an extent while out and about. In case I ever have to head back. Plus, if this path, like you said, would be beneficial, at least more beneficial than the elf path, so...
Yeah, it will be, which is why I figured you'd be interested, because... I mean, it's not too far, north or south from where you are right now.
Yeah. Let's hope we don't run into any trouble. Although at the same time, I wouldn't mind doing some scouting myself to try to figure out some other things if we end up straying from the area from a little bit, but that's me thinking.
Do y'all ever wonder what happened to Fort Hammerfell? We sort of just left them.
I know Thea's visited every once in a while. She's been trying to keep some sort of upkeep with it, but I haven't been there yet.
Well, I hope the dwarven woman there isn't pissed enough to try and beat me up if she ever sees me again.
I'm sure it's okay if anyone can calm any sort of soul down. It's little Thea. Actually, she's taller than me, so that doesn't work.
She's little inexperienced.
You know what I mean.
She's fun-sized.
Yeah. Oh, she clearly has seen some things with you guys. Just saying. Anyways.
Did you expect anything less?
You know, I think I feel bad because I probably should have warned her about you two.
But did she die?
She did tell me that she was pretty close a few times, but luckily, thanks to Vidar's healing skills, she came out of, what was it? Blood Stomp? I think she got hit a few times by, what's that guy's name? Clovis? She's the storyteller. Yes. She would talk
Bloodstump was the troll I wrestled off a wall.
Yeah, she did mention that.
And Clovis was a little hobbit, a halfling who I wonder how he's doing. But
Curious.
Don't expect any sort of healing from me anymore.
What? Why?
I left that.
I mean, I know we're all tough here and we can take care of ourselves, but that's kind of
I left that behind a long time ago. I focused.
Now your hands just deal death.
You see, Maethon gets it.
Okay.
I just kind of smile and I just go, all right.
Oh, so it looks like the past few years have treated us poorly. And now we're back.
It's
So
fine.
we are.
Everything's fine.
The world is darker for it.
Well, I guess not too poorly. There are some silver linings, like you said. Maethon's here with that elf person whose name I will always constantly forget. But that's okay. I've never been an elf person myself anyway. Now after being
I'm sorry.
trained one for the
I'll
first
just call it
time.
that from now on. My elfy elf thing.
But Mountain Hall has seen some progress, which is nice.
There is a silver lining to my story too, because the elves didn't do anything wrong to the Great Elf. They're like the only people who didn't. So the elves are good in my book.
What, you like them now?
I think I do. You know, I think Thranduil has a point about both dwarves and men.
How much meat have I had?
Nela's probably finishing her second at this rate.
I mean, my second.
3
I'm just
came
looking
and
at
no
him
one
going
was
like,
taking
what?
you guys all ordered 3, and so I'm just gonna take the third you ordered, and I'm just gonna pound that, which
Yeah,
is my third.
she ordered a second one herself. Yeah. Anyways. Oh, well.
Do you think I could?
So,
how do you think someone becomes naturalized in the Elven kingdoms of Mirkwood?
meaning?
Becoming a citizen of Thranduil's.
You have to talk to the big guy.
You know,
Just a thought I had.
that reminds me of another story Thea told me, which might hinder the idea of yours, because if I remember correctly, based on what Thea has said, something about you and your skivvies during a hunt.
Yeah, Thranduil's seen me naked. He knows what he's getting.
So, I wouldn't count on it too much.
Nah, he took it really well, actually. As well as,
Whatever you say, Vidar.
as well as someone could take something like that. I mean, he still let me come into his house. He helped liberate my house from the infestation.
My house.
Yeah.
In the middle of the mountain, my house.
Can I get another mead over here?
Alright, so, with all this catch-up, so when are we starting this? When does Beaufry want us?
Oh, I have no idea off the top of my head. Did the letter say where we were meeting him? Was it in Wood Hall?
Woodland Hall.
Woodland Hall. I knew I was missing a syllable. I was just supposed to go to Woodland Hall, meet him up with him there. Yeah, Woods.
Okay.
So I have nothing else going on in my life. So whenever we are ready to go, I mean, I'm sure you have a lot of things to tie up, Nela, being part of the ruling class.
Yes. Probably give me the rest of the day and I can probably shove everything off on someone else. I can only do so much of it, honestly, before I take Haru and run off into the wilderness for a little bit. But it has had its rewards, and it has a lot of frustration to it also. But I
Well,
suppose it was better than, I don't know, leaving this place chieftainless. I guess they would have picked someone else, but
hey, I've noticed Mountain Hall's bigger and greater as I came in since the last time I've been here. So you're doing something right. Things are better here than they are in the Grey Delve.
Thanks. Just now I just need people to help me convince the rest of this area that certain dude that is a lord in Tyrant's Hill is a bigger issue than perceived currently. But we'll get there. I'm not done interrogating you about meeting him, but
I didn't meet with the guy.
Or fine, reacquainting with him again, or whatever it's called. But it's neither here or there right now, because even if I did get more out of you, I don't know, I wouldn't know what to do with it right now.
But Mom, you already got it out of me.
I'm just tired of people telling me to quit worrying about things when they're worth worrying.
I'm not telling you to not worry about it.
No, I'm speaking in general.
Well, I guess you take the day to get all your affairs in order, and I'll see if there's someone I can knock the shit out of.
Is Vidar's little like fight club or ring still here, or was that in a different city?
It was
in Lake Town, wasn't it?
in Roskabel.
Yeah, it was in Roskabel.
Oh, Roskabel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fucking
Okay.
Well, it was
I
a
remember
pleasure
that.
meeting up with you. Can I just crash at your place, Nela?
I was expecting you to actually. So,
Excellent.
Yeah.
I'll show up
Yeah.
sometime later.
Mm-hmm.
And Vidar's gonna stand up from the table, and he's just going to do a lap around the little shop, and see if there's anyone shady who'd be willing to fight.
Well, Maethon, yeah, give me the rest of the day and I can get ready. But Haru is free. You're welcome to hang out with him and chill with him outside or whatever. And past that, you're welcome to stay at my place too, where Vidar is, and we can start
I'll take
tomorrow.
That sounds good to me. I think I'm gonna head to a tavern and enjoy the woodman life for a little bit.
Yeah. Try to get some sleep too. You don't look so great. I know that's easier said than done, considering oddly enough we're having the same nightmares, which is a
Ale
thing
helps.
to talk about. Yeah, it does. Really does. Okay, well, I'll go finish up, and by finish up, I mean most likely go straight to Avna and have her take care of the rest.
I'll do like a slight bow and go like, have fun. And I'm gonna turn and walk out, go find a tavern.
You're in one.
I thought
I
we were
took
in
you
Mountain
guys
Hall.
to one.
Where you think you've been getting the mead?
I thought it was at our fucking place. Okay. I'm gonna
Nathan's
stay.
drunk enough already. He's gonna walk outside, look around like, where's a fucking tavern? Look above and see us. And I'm like, oh, perfect. I don't mind if I do.
Walk in, see Nela. What up?
What are you doing here? I was just on the other side of town. This is nuts.
So, Nela's gonna finish the last of her ale and whatnot, and she'll get up and she'll go do her chieftain chiefly things, whatever.
So you three sort of part ways briefly and spend the rest of the day to yourselves preparing for your trek and journey. Nela, you speak with Avna and pretty much get her what she needs to rule as a steward in your stead, at least until Thea potentially returns for good counsel.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a vacation. Is that allowed? That's allowed. I'm gonna go. Bye. You got this. You're great.
I am not paid enough for this shit.
Oh, I can take care of that when I come back. Bye.
And the rest of the day goes quietly enough. The next morning, the three of you gather your things and head out with.
I said
Head out
disappointing
with
that it went
the-
quietly.
head out with the first group of traders and caravans leaving from Mountain Hall and heading north. And the three of you, over the next day or so, head northeast across the Gladden Fields and across the river, heading for Mountain Hall. And you eventually come across...
You mean Woodland Hall?
Yes, Woodland Hall. Fucking woodmen. You come across Woodland Hall. That is one of the largest woodman cities or towns under the woodman culture. It sits just outside of the tree line of West Mirkwood. And you see a palisade and stockade surrounding it, draped in hedges, and watch posts spaced out in between on the other side of the wall. As you get closer and you see the insides are built on the sides and on top of the hill, with the very top of it adorning the actual Woodland Hall longhouse itself. Nela, you would know this is the home of the chieftain Ingemer Axebreaker.
Old friend! Yes.
And as you guys make your way through the winding roads of Woodland Hall, I will just move this here for the sake of things. You come in from the west side of the village and make your way up the hilltops all the way up into the actual Woodland Hall itself. Enelya, you would also know that Woodland Hall is sometimes referred to as Wooduseld, which is the actual name for it in the Anduin Vale's tongue.
Wooduseld?
W-U-do. There.
Okay, sounds good. Wooduseld. Wooduseld.
The great longhouse stands on on the steep side, or stands on top of a steep hill that you're currently walking up, which has been generations of work by the woodmen who've cut away the sides of the hill to actually shape it into the actual landscape that you see before you. And the town itself is fairly busy. People are down at the docks working on rafts and small boats, and there's a couple of smithing and trades up and running. But you make your way for the woodman or the hall itself, and the guards recognize you, Nela, and grant you passage as you walk into a familiar longhouse that you've been in before. Through your times of being chieftain and making visits across the other woodman settlements. And I'm realizing we're still in a tavern here.
It's a magical tavern.
It's a lively place.
It's a tavern on a cart that goes from town to town.
Is that like one of those beer trolleys?
Yeah.
Ooh, I've always wanted to get this.
You make your way inside with the low-lit fires illuminating the insides of the wooden structure, and you see a long wooden table on the opposite side of the fire, and you see two individuals sitting there. One as a tall man with a withered old face. And hair that's now mostly gray down to his jawline, but still a large figure in terms of presence and size alone. You would all recognize this individual as Ingemer himself. And then sitting across from, or to his side, as they are sort of sitting at an angle conversing back and forth themselves, you see a dwarf with black hair and a short beard itself, a short beard. And this dwarf's actually clothed in furs and leathers, which is a little abnormal for a dwarf. Typically, you see them in males and heavier armors. But to his side, a large pack with a long stick that's taller than him, sort of fastened to the side of it. And on the other side seems to be several rolls of parchment and papers. As they both look up, those with decent enough memories would recognize that as Beaufrey, son of Beaufort.
Beaufrey!
Ah, Vidar, you got my letter.
I took some time to get down here, but here I am.
Well, I'm glad to see it. I hope you're all excited. We're on a great quest to restore this road and actually retrieve some bit of history for our people.
Yeah.
Well, Ingemar sort of looks over the three of you, nods at Nela. I will leave the four of you to your business to plan your journey. Stay as long as you need. If you have need of me, you only need to ask. As he makes his way into the sort of the back rooms of the longhouse. Beaufrey hops down from his chair and goes over to his pack, takes out a parchment and sort of unfurls it on the view and flattens it out. He takes a couple of mugs and pins them to the corners to make sure it doesn't shrink up. All right. So, do y'all know why you're here?
Walk through the forest, see some stuff, kill some things.
Restore the path for people all around.
Huh? You're not entirely wrong. So, the old forest road was once built by the dwarves, and there's been great spells put upon it to keep it intact, so it'd be a safe passage through the heart of Mirkwood from east to west. Unfortunately, in time, it's been abandoned, and some of those spells have lost their hold. So the forest road itself isn't exactly up to snuff, and most of the way stations and fortresses along the path have resulted in serious decay. I haven't gone under the canopy of Mirkwood and investigated this for myself, but I have surveyed either end in the entrances of Mirkwood. So our main goal is to actually travel to one of the middle forts, one of the larger keeps that was made to defend and keep watch over the road. I'd like to get inside one of these and actually get an understanding of what sort of state it's in. Can it be refurbished? Do we have to knock it down and completely build up a new one? But that's part of what we're looking for. And ideally, there should be, according to old Dwarven records, there should be a particular staff there, known as the Staff of the Road Warden. If we could retrieve that, it would aid in our cause greatly to restore this road and return flowing traffic between east and west.
Well then, let's go get this staff.
So
Well,
go keep, find
Sounds
a
good to
staff,
me.
restore path. All right.
Well, don't be hasty. Don't be hasty. If it was that simple, I'd go by myself. Like I said, I haven't been under the canopy of Mirkwood on the forest road itself. That's where you come in. We're gonna have to head north from here, and then head deeper into Mirkwood, following the path, looking for one of these middle forts. And that's kind of where I'm going to rely on you. All right, I'm going to need you to plot a path from here and get us there as safely as you can. And once we come across familiar land, I should be able to navigate our way there. So like I said, and he points down at the map, we're in Woodland Hall. And according to records, the middle fort is 2/5 the way into Mirkwood on the road. So roughly, we're probably looking about, and he sort
40%?
of takes out
Almost halfway.
a quill, and he sort of marks somewhere in this area. So, whatever path you deem best to get us there, Be greatly appreciated. It's still Mirkwood. It's dangerous out there.
Yeah, it's almost like my backyard at this point. Let's take a look here.
It's been a little bit since I've looked at a map, but I could give it my best shot.
This is not the map I want. I want a different map.
So as he's looking it over, so currently we're in the Western Eaves, and going immediately north of here will take us into Western Mirkwood, and then eventually into the mountains of Mirkwood. Immediately to our east is the heart of Mirkwood. And of course, if you want to be picky about it, to the west is the East Anduin Vales.
So, Maethon, Nela, either of you good with maps?
I am more familiar with knowing actual territories I've traveled through with, not particularly with maps. However, I think Western Mirkwood is the one land I don't know as a wanderer.
Well, I'll give it my best shot then.
I'll say I'm gonna look just because I've been in Mirkwood for a little bit. Maybe just like the off chance, maybe I know, but just kind of like take a look at the map.
I am proficient with cartographer's tools.
Go for it.
You're more than welcome to look at the map. You're looking at it now.
Yeah, but I mean, like whatever Vidar wanted me to figure out.
Can you ping again? Oh, it's that red circle right there that we're trying to head to?
Roughly in that area. The road itself spans about 200 miles.
The goal right now, and the goal right now is to just plot a path to get there. Once we get close enough, Balfrey can guide us the rest of the way there.
Aye, because that'll be a bit more of a archaeology, if you will. Actually investigating the ruins, finding old signs to try and narrow down where we're going.
I mean, it might be somewhat of a roundabout, but it is a little safer, at least in the beginning. We can always cut through the East Anduin Vales up to where the old forest road kind of starts, and then try to cut into Western Mirkwood and mountains of Mirkwood, albeit as dangerous as that is. But we're heading into dangerous territory regardless, so there's no escaping that. But if we at least start off with East Anduin Vales, it's smoother sailing at first, as opposed to just trying to cut directly through to Western Mirkwood and mountains of Mirkwood through Western Eaves, if that makes sense.
It makes sense. Looks like it makes the journey 3 times as long, though.
It's a little longer, but I mean, East Anduin Vales is a breeze to go through. Even here in Western Eaves, it's a little tricky to go through. So just the kind of terrain we'd be trying to cut directly through could make the journey almost as long if we're not lucky.
What do you think, Maethon?
Well, I think the trip is going to be hard regardless, but I think going through there will be the best option.
Repeat that last sentence again.
Going through the road would be the best option.
Oh, okay.
Balfrey, can you fight? Or is it just archaeology things?
He pulls down a little bit of his hides shirt and shows some ring mail underneath. And then as he pushes that back up, he pulls out his staff. This is all I got.
I'll do enough fighting for the both of us. Don't worry about it.
So you can whack people with that?
Aye, as much as you can whack something with your pointy bow back there.
I can whack people with this pointy bow, actually, and I can show you too if you want.
I'm just saying, we both can whack people.
All right, fair enough, fine. So, can we count on you if we run into anything that you can hold up on your own, or do you need assistance?
I'll protect Balfrey. Don't worry about a thing.
Sure, in a pinch, my father helped slay Smaug.
All right, fine, whatever. Well, I mean, if we're all feeling pretty confident about just cutting through the...
I mean, Maethon said go out and around.
Oh, did he? Did I miss that?
Yeah, he said take the road.
Okay.
Unless I misunderstood what he meant.
Nope, you got me.
Well, there is no road out there.
Well, we're talking about going west, out of the forest, and then north to where the old road starts. And then heading east. Try and make it a little easier than just walking straight through the forest, north.
A little easier, but a little longer for sure.
Yeah, for sure, indeed. 3 times as long. If
And that length could and change not be easier.
Are we at a tie then?
Look, I've lived here for about 40 years, and if there's one thing I've learned, it is to yield with the person who knows these lands the best. So which is that of you?
Well, technically, if we follow what Nela says, she knows the lands the best. I don't know the lands themselves too well, but I have some skill reading a map.
I can read a map too. That doesn't give you survival.
So then, our 2 survival experts recommend going out west and then taking a longer path.
I know the area we're in now, and the area just west of us like the back of my hand. So I guess in that regard, it may not matter too much, but this area, as said, is a little more treacherous. But once we hit Mirkwood itself, up by where the road actually is, that's where things get a little tricky.
Well, at that point,
it really depends on if we feel lucky or not. Of course, I will do my best, but
yeah, at that
we can
point,
also play it safe.
we might be close enough that Balfrey can read the ruins and know where to go from there.
That's true, because based on... Let me try... Where's this map again? That's true, because based on what the map is saying, I mean, Western Eves is... The tip of Western Eves is pretty close to the area we're trying to hit.
I
so
say
like,
we
if
just
we
go
can
north.
survive... Yeah, sure. Why not?
I trust
I'm up
in
for
your
adventure.
Maethon and Nelis. I trust in your skills to guide us through the road.
That's the plan.
That's fair. I'm up for adventure.
Just straight north from here.
Aye.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm ready to set out as soon as you all are.
Everything you see is everything I carry, so I'm ready to go.
I'm all set.
Except, let me check. And he's going to
what?
check his pack really quick for how much food he has.
Yeah, I was just gonna say probably make sure we're stocked up on rations and whatnot, but past that,
I mean,
I'm set.
technically,
I got 15 rations.
I was going to say, technically, my inventory says 10 days of rations, but that was like a year ago or years ago, so...
Those
Nela-
rations are expired.
Yeah. I know Nela doesn't have any
mine are
because
expired.
she hasn't needed them since she's been in Mountain Hall, so I at least don't have any.
Yes, I probably ate all mine on my
I'm just going to go ahead and
travels
say
between
0,
Sunset and
those
everything else.
are expired for DM. So let's pick up some
Sick,
rations
again,
before we
Emery.
leave town and then head out. There's no other reason to stick around.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
All right. Well, I will be at the front gate waiting for you, are you? And I'll see you when you're ready.
Cool.
He throws his pack on, hops down, and makes his way out of the longhouse.
I'm going to Yeah, I'm gonna find out where in town we can find some rations. I might even track down Ingemer, since he offered his help.
Yeah, there's a small place in the middle of town that sells cured meats for traveling.
And
Yeah.
okay.
I'll go buy some.
Yep, I'm gonna go buy some.
120 copper a day.
Oh, economics. Middle Earthonomics.
Middle Earth.
Oh, if I could spell.
So 120 copper for 1 day of rations. Is that what you said?
silver.
Yes.
So one
So
gold
10
gets you
silver.
2 days.
Okay. So
So I'm gonna spend 10 gold. I'm gonna get 20 days.
wait, did we consider how many days this might take when looking at the map?
I don't know, did you?
How many
did not.
miles does this look like?
You can measure it. Roughly, heading in about a northerly direction in that area, it'll be about at least 60 miles. At a pace of 20 miles a day in normal terrain, you could probably make it in 2 days.
In normal
then-
terrain.
Yes.
I'm gonna buy. You said it was
1 gold for 2.
1 gold for 2. I'm gonna buy 10 days of rations just to be safe.
Yeah,
I'm buying 20.
Okay.
I'm also gonna buy
Um,
10 if they have that many rations.
I
Oh
mean,
yeah, I should probably think about
this
this.
guy probably has a total of maybe 15 days from what he's been working on.
Okay, then we'll just clear his stock.
So 15 days, so 5, 5, and 5.
Yeah, that sounds fine.
All right.
I keep
Can
thinking
I
it's like a
also
fucking video game, and I could just buy just the whole fucking thing.
can I also buy some arrows too?
You don't have any?
I want more.
Greedy.
You're the chieftain
Oh,
of your own village.
Yeah, I want
You could have
more.
grabbed any of this for free
I
the
know.
day before.
I forgot. I was listening to you narrate.
Wow.
So it's your fault, Brian.
Well, you don't like it when I interrupt, so whatever.
Okay.
I got
have-
5 rations.
They have 30 arrows for 2 silver.
Okay, I'll take that.
Okay.
Maethon, do you need some?
Nah, I'm good.
Okay.
Every town we go to, we gotta check for rations. We gotta clear every
many-
town out of stock for rations.
Okay, wait. So how much gold was 5 rations then? Was that
That's 4
5 gold.
gold and 10 silver.
I only have gold. How do I do this?
Oh, sorry, 2 gold and 10 silver.
Wait, so you said 4?
They give you the appropriate change.
Yeah.
And we will deal with that later. I'm not turning this into an economics lesson again.
Okay.
So subtract 3 gold and add 10
okay,
silver.
so I'm gonna do.
It's this easy. Subtract 3 gold, add 10 silver, and you're good.
Done.
Okay,
Doing
wait,
that.
but
I'm
then
done.
but then
I'm
it was
done.
30 silver for the arrows.
Ay, Dios
It
mío.
was 2 silver for 30
2
arrows.
silver for the.
All right. As they clear this up, narratively, they make their way back out to Beaufry and prepare for their journey. With the 3 of you uniting together for the first time in 3 years and going on a journey, you may all take inspiration.
Oh!
This is where we are going to take a 5-minute break. We'll be right back.
After
Don't go
these
anywhere.
short messages.
Don't go anywhere because we'll have an announcement when we can return.
Yay! I'm excited.
It's been about 1 year since we started streaming as AdventureCheck. We have a fellowship of 3
adventurers.
We've laughed.
And cried, mainly from laughing too hard.
And we've nearly died.
Characters, I mean, not us.
Take 5 shadow damage.
This is not the hug I wanted.
It's been an incredible journey that the streaming adventure has taken us this far.
As a group of silly friends, we got to meet new people and share in all the nerdy interests.
Such as mini painting.
Hello, friends!
Dungeons and Dragons.
There's various video games.
You fucker!
And so much more.
We've discovered our little band of a goblin army.
Notable NPCs.
Well, you've come to the right place, darling. My name's Madam Eva. I am the proprietor of this place.
And owlbear noises too. You're just like, meh!
But most importantly, we have been able to create a stream and community that welcomes everyone and inspires each other to do our best and to dive into these interests.
Whether they are a veteran player in ttrpgs,
Or a brand new warpaint goblin.
We have people from different time zones banding together on Discord and our streams to have fun.
I want him to see me in my skivvies.
it has been an absolute blast.
And honestly, it's all thanks to you.
You who come to our streams in our Discord and interact with us and hang out with us.
You who are part of our Discord and being a part of our shenanigans that happen off channel while being part of this welcoming committee when someone joins. Hello!
You have helped make this AdventureCheck journey for all of us one in a lifetime.
And we can only hope that you are enjoying it as much as we are.
1 year.
100 followers.
A channel and a community that has more to come.
Did it work? I don't think it worked.
From the bottom of our hearts, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And stay proficient with us as we make this check for adventure.
And we're back. We're back.
There you go.
Yes, so just to build off of that, thank you everyone who is here tonight. Thank you everybody who has supported us thus far. It's been a crazy year. Through starting this like the day or the week before COVID hit and we all got sent home, essentially, I've been doing this as a way to stay in touch, as just a game for a while, and we streamed it, and here we are a year later. As of today, 110 followers. So thank you very much. It really means a lot to all of us.
So much so that I will drink to that.
Yes,
We just gave a hint of getting AdventureCheck themed shot glasses to Kevin, and he was like, "Done, bought."
All of you out there, if you ever doubt something, if I say I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna fucking do it.
yeah, he just jumped on it. But I guess AdventureCheck themed shot glasses are one thing. But as of right now, we are launching a limited time, well, we'll see, item that you can go to our coffee page and potentially purchase for yourself, and that is an AdventureCheck Dice Goblin sticker.
That was so exciting.
And this is a limited time, limited stock thing for now. It may come back in the future, but there is no guarantee of that. And
Right.
this is the only if you show that sticker again, this is a brand new goblin design by Lindsay and will not appear as as an emote in any other way, shape, or form. So if you want to get this, you got to go to our coffee shop and purchase it while supplies last. And if things go well, there may become more available.
The link is in the in chat now.
Yes. So currently, the sticker is pay what you want. With a minimum of $2. That's sort of our break-even point here. If you pay more than that, know that all that goes right back into the stream to either make the channel better, or more events or more merchandise in the later. You're kind of controlling this for us, so we have a few out there that are ready to sell. What you do with them determines what we might do in the future with this channel and other things like this. So consider it as a thank you for following us and supporting us up to this point. So I hope you enjoy them, and I'm curious to see where this goes. This guy's adorable.
I'm so excited.
It's a good size sticker too, because it's like
little dice goblins.
it's like 2 by 1 inch. Well, 2 by 1.5 inches.
Yeah, it's I think yeah, the official dimensions are like 1.29 inches by 2 inches.
It's on the coffee shop, so if you
Yep.
if you go there, you'll see the exact dimensions. And right now,
And he's a sticker. You can slap him on anything.
yeah, and right now, just one more caveat: the stickers are limited to 1 per order.
Yeah, because we only have 5 available.
Yeah.
Yep.
So.
And no international shipping right now, so sorry.
So get them before they're all gone if you want your own dice goblin to decorate your gaming equipment with.
Your phone, a journal, you can even put it on the appearance part of a character sheet.
Yeah, if you're running a goblin named Zips for any reason.
Just uses a giant dodecahedron to bludgeon enemies to death.
Oh, that sounds terrifying.
Yeah, you know what? That might actually end up in a homebrew monster, the dice goblin. His main weapon is a dodecahedron, and it does like 1d8 bludgeoning. No, it technically would do 1d20 bludgeoning.
Yeah.
So it has great potential, but probably will never get there. So,
Oh
again,
man.
thank you. Again, thank you, and I hope you enjoy it. So now with that, now on to our less exciting announcements. We will be live again tomorrow night with Lindsay's weekly paint and chat. Tomorrow night she will be painting... She will be painting...
Oh, a dryad. Sorry, I am still going through like so many different tabs since I just like opened the shop and then did other things and whatnot.
You gotta close your brain tabs.
Yeah.
Yes,
No,
please close.
I have a dryad mini that I'm going to paint tomorrow. It's part of the dryad and satyr combo that you can get from Nolzor's Marvelous Minis. And I don't have the satyr because he was actually part of a giveaway last year. But I do have the dryad that I kept for myself, and I'm gonna paint her. And hopefully can do some sort of cool, like, autumn leaf ombre effect with her. But we'll talk more about it tomorrow.
Fun. And then, of course, later this week we'll be back with KOTOR. God almighty.
Why are you reading chat? You have announcements to give.
Good morning, Greendale students. And then we will, of course, come back Saturday morning with Matt for his DM prep
This
for his Monday
session
campaigns.
went exactly like we planned. It was wonderful to have it go that way for once.
That never happens.
And so this Saturday,
Even what I did with the toad.
well, I didn't plan how you guys were gonna get through that. I just planned the toads were there, and
That's fair.
what you guys did with that is left open. But that means this Saturday, I gotta actually plan out what the artifacts they stole are, because I don't know what those are yet. And accidentally created a new ancient wizard that didn't exist a week ago, so there's that too. So stop by on Saturday. It'll be a good time. And I'll get more in detail about that, Paul, but I'd like to find different powers for them, simply because they're not going to be water themed. They're going to be earth themed now. And so I want a different vibe for that.
Excellent. Fun. So, for those of you that have been with us since the beginning, or might be new tonight, you have probably noticed that we use some background and ambient music throughout our sessions.
What?
This is all from Battle Bards. So if you would like to give your tabletop games the next level of immersion, be it in person, fully vaccinated players and DMs sitting around a table yet again, or virtually like this through Discord or Skype or whatever phone call software you want to use,
Is Skype
you
still
should
a
head over to
thing?
You should head over to battlebards.com and get yourself a BattleBards Prime subscription, where that will get you 20% discount on all in-store purchases, access to a mixer and a caster, so you can push out your glorious bardic tunes all throughout the interwebs. As long as the players have that link, they'll be able to hear it. And of course, you can also use our coupon code ADVENTURE to get a little extra on our behalf. In a BattleBards subscription also gives you complete streaming access to the libraries of BattleBards and Plate Mail games, so you kind of get a 2-for-1 there. It's a really good deal, and if you enjoy using sound effects and music like I do, you will greatly enjoy it. So head over to battlebards.com.
I just want to give Paul a quick shout out because he dropped a really good text-based BattleBards ad earlier tonight.
Oh yeah.
Did he?
Paul's kind
Missed
of
that.
Paul's kind of our secret agent. He goes in and be like, "Hey man, hey, let me just slip this Battle Bards ad here. There you go."
He the real VIP. Cool. I guess the only other thing I want to say is thank you everybody for joining our paint and chat drunk mini painting.
Oh, that was so
finger
much
painting
fun.
on Saturday.
That was a blast.
It devolved or evolved, I guess, into a one shot
Yeah.
where
Poor Brian.
I DM'd and Brian possessed a shotgun. So
Poor Brian.
Groovy.
I really hope this wasn't actual, but okay. Brian whips out his shotgun and
You had to be there. So thank you all for joining that. Join that. We're looking to have similar events more often, but we're working out those details. So
Let me
keep an
tell
eye
you-
out. Head
wait.
over to.
sorry.
No,
I
you're
thought you were
good.
done. Head over to the Discord, everybody. Join the Discord. That's where we do our stuff.
Yep.
But let me tell you, getting drunk and staying up till 1 a.m. You know, on
I did
daylight
Saturday.
savings time, and then having to get up at 8 a.m. to then drive 2 hours.
Oh.
That was an adventure, and
Rip.
I failed that. Actually, no, I succeeded that check, but I did not like it.
That is rough.
Straight up would not recommend.
So
That's just
I'm
rough.
spending all weekend caught up on sleep. I took like 2 naps today.
And with that, I guess also keep an eye out. We'll be making an announcement as it gets closer and we have an actual definitive date for it, but we will be having a one-shot for Adventures in Middle-earth.
2 dungeons deep.
Oh,
Where I will be DMing the
Yes.
one shot that is following a side adventure of Enelya as she seeks to become a master elven smith, following in the footsteps of Celebrimble, or am I wrong there?
I believe he is one of the artificers of old. Yeah.
Yeah. But what awaits the party deep beneath the earth? I don't know yet. I haven't planned it out, but it'll be cool.
It's probably dirt. It's probably a lot of dirt beneath the earth, if I had to guess. But so that should be everything. So let us get back to it now that we have run quite late. So the three of you having done your equipment perusals and acquisitions, make your way to the front of Woodland Hall to meet Belfry. And before we progress any further, I need journeying rolls.
Yeah.
Who's the guide?
Damn me! I claim it.
That's fine.
Okay.
Use me.
You're excused.
Okay, bye. No.
No, not that. Come back.
Scout.
Is the scout the same thing as the lookout?
No, they're actually two different roles.
I could be scout. I could do both
okay.
scout and hunter if we need it.
I guess I'll then just be lookout. You know, there's not really a good role for Vidar.
Okay.
But being lookout allows me to stick close to Beaufry.
Sure. All right. So.
Okay, so just to double check, because is it just me hearing two songs at once right now?
I only hear one.
Okay.
I only hear one.
I hear one now. Nope, it just restarted. All right, it's just me. Yay! That's all right. Making
Fantastish. All right.
Check
so.
my tabs. Are you talking to me, Paul? You bought a sticker! Thank you!
I took a peek and I was like, wait, there's only 4 left.
Yay!
All right.
Wait, we have stickers?
Nela.
Oh my god.
Give me an embarkation
Yeah.
check, please.
That's me! Go! I got it. Oh no, that's terrible, I think.
You do realize that doesn't actually equate to good or bad, right?
It is. Right. You know, you're right. It is -2 though, since we are starting in a land that I know. I believe that's how
It's -2 to the embarkation roll?
What was it?
Or -2 to the peril rating?
Oh, I'm sorry. It is the peril rating. I got ahead of myself.
Okay.
It's a -2 for the peril rating, and then it's also going to be a DC lowered by 2 for personal event tests.
Okay.
What?
All right, so I need to go ahead and check a few things. So as you all begin to head out, you can talk amongst yourselves, do some RP, do the good stuff.
Thank you, Paul. I got advantage. So, do you think anything has moved into these forts we're heading to?
Well, if they've
It's
been...
possible.
I can only imagine, that's for sure. If they've been left alone for this long.
Do you think any of Mordred's people
Is
are
it
using
bad I'm
them?
counting on it?
No, because I am too. I could smash in
Oh.
some of their heads.
I'm not tired, and I'm not tired this time, so it'll be an even better fight.
You know, I
Hey,
gave.
wait, are you still in contact with what's her name? Dagmar?
No, I have no way.
My God.
I have no way to be in contact with her.
Really? Because it always seemed like you found a way.
No, honestly, I've only seen her like 2 or 3 times.
Sure
So-
you did. You give a wink.
So we're not gonna expect anything like the Folk Moon again, are we?
No. I was a little idealistic back then, and I was hoping things could work out for the best. That they at least deserved the spot. A spot to hear themselves. Now, I'm not too sure. They're a bunch of jerks.
I was waiting for the word. You can say it, they're assholes.
I was thinking it. I really was, but I don't know.
I'll say it for you. They're assholes.
Well, we'll see what happens if they show up again, but I mean...
Well, if they're in the fort, we're kicking them out. And if the only way they leave is through violence, then so be it.
Oh, let's hope that's how they leave.
Are we becoming the baddies? No, no.
Are we the bad guys? Probably. Oh.
Although it is hard to think about everything that did happen at the Folk Moon, it's like
It was a wild
if things
time.
went differently, or if they acted a little differently over there. I just wonder if things may have been different. I mean, I don't know if they actually would have been able to accomplish the other woodmen trusting Mogdred to be part of the council. Especially not with their way of just busting in like they did, and then...
Well, to be fair, they didn't bust in. They were let in.
Still. Vidar. He waltzed in, he made demands, he pretty much made himself look like a tyrant very easily. And what were people gonna do? Just say, oh yeah, sure, here you go?
Oh yeah, sure, here you go. I don't know. I had hopes.
But having said that, I don't think things would be easier anyways if somehow, some way he and his men did become part of the Woodmen. But every now and again, I think about it.
So do I. Strangely enough, I heard rumor that one of the wizards came looking for the powder that was found at the Grey Delve.
One of the wizards?
Powder?
Yeah, I think his name was... Oh, you weren't there, but there was this black powder that as soon as it came contact with flame, it...
Big boom.
Yeah, it was like burning. It's like a large bonfire that happened in an instant.
That doesn't bode well. What happened
It's
to
very
it?
powerful. The wizard took it. Or at least some of it. I don't know how much is left in the Grey Delve. The orcs and the goblins were using it. We had to be careful because you don't really got to aim with something like that. You just toss it in a group and everyone dies.
Just more
Earth-shattering kaboom.
But it's in the hands of the wizards now, so if anyone will be able to keep it safe, it's them.
It's funny you bring the wizards up. I heard that wizards had another group of adventurers look into the areas of Fenbridge Castle. And I think Dol Guldur too.
But poor souls got suckered into that.
I don't know.
I wouldn't mind going for a walk down there. Work out
Going
some
all the way
stress.
down to Doggle
Work out some stress.
Yeah, maybe find out a little more about Rythan, or maybe he ended up back there. Who knows? Although I don't think he would. That place was hell to him. So.
No, I'm pretty sure Rythan's dead. I know. I didn't know him. I saw him for like all of 1 minute.
Anyways, that's what everyone is thinking the real threat is right now, the orcs at Fenbridge Castle. So anytime I try to bring up Mogdred, it's like, nah, Nela, look farther.
Well, I mean, they both could be threats. should be concerned about both of them.
Yeah.
But to Mordred's point, I haven't heard news of him striking out at any settlements yet. But then again, I've been far north for a long while.
Well, him talking to Maethon was new, and trying to get more in touch with Seowyn is new, but past that,
Yeah, but he didn't do it personally, and didn't see any sign of his army or any sign of offensive from him, so...
Did he send a letter or something? How'd you
find you?
How'd you get in contact?
I don't know. He just sent me pretty much a letter reminding me of my oath and told me what to do and where to go.
Yeah, interesting.
So, that's what I did.
Where were you when you got the letter?
I was in Mirkwood. Around Mirkwood.
You know, I was just reminded of how Mordred sent some men up to Fort Hammerfell when we were trying to court him and his army to help us at the Great Elf.
Wait. What?
It was just...
We're not proud. We're not proud of it.
One or two people. Oh yeah, did they not tell you this?
I might have forgotten that bit. Look, you know how she is with stories. She just goes and she goes and she goes and she goes, and then if it's not whatever dream she's having, it's all these stories, and I can't keep up with everything. No, I might have either she missed that bit, or she wouldn't tell me, or I totally forgot.
Yeah, well, we were desperate because at the time we had nobody helping us. And we knew Mordred was a good fighter.
Good fighter with a good army.
Yeah, and we were hoping if we could offer them some of the gold and resources held within the Grey Delve, they'd be willing to help. But they turned us down.
I do remember you guys were in the area, trying to find people, recruit them for the fort. Oh no, I'm thinking of something different. Never mind.
Recruit them for the siege on the Great Elf. But in the end, we found mercenaries, and Thranduil helped us as well. And those mercenaries then turned around and murdered Freyr, so...
That sucks, Vidar.
And many of the dwarves like to blame Dane for not protecting him. But, like, sure, maybe if Dane had sent some troops, this wouldn't have happened.
Notice he didn't mention him as King Dane.
Titles don't matter.
Well,
they used to you.
Seems like there's more mystery than anything about what's been going on. Whether they're all separate from each other or not.
Yeah.
Less resolution. I don't like it, especially if it is having me lose sleep.
I just want to find out more about those mercenaries. Who knows them? Who's friends with them? Who's their family?
I just want to know what Mordred is up to. And
Vidar, give me a wisdom saving throw.
Ooh, buddy.
Oh.
Bum, bum, bum.
20.
Nice.
Do I have any sort of sensation?
No.
Okay.
Carry on.
Because if I did, I was just gonna flip off the air, but...
Hey, fuck you.
I just want him to, if he is doing or plotting anything, I want it taken care of before anything gets worse.
My oath is fulfilled, so I'm down to take care of Mordred in any shape or form.
You three seem awfully jaded since the last time I saw you.
Well, we had a lot happen. Were you not there for the full folk moot?
That's where I met you.
Yeah. Were you not there for the whole thing afterwards?
I mean, I saw saw a couple of people ride in on horses and make a big to-do, and people said, no, we don't want you, and then he left. Doesn't seem like a big problem to me.
God, he makes it sound like it's so simple of an event that happened, when really there's way more to it!
It's because you make more to it, it's from my understanding.
Don't you...
What are your thoughts on the assassination of Briar?
Well, I've been here for a better part of 40 years, sent by King Dane on the royal decree, if you care about those things. But when the news reached us about Freyr, I'll be honest, it didn't really faze me too much. It's hard to feel sorry for something you never knew. But I imagine it was probably fairly similar to what my father and his companions felt when Thorin and Keely and Feely died.
I imagine so.
Well, unfortunately, we'll have to move on, don't we? Life goes on.
It goes on. More work to always be done.
Aye. The road goes ever on, as they say. But we're here now, and we have a task ahead of us.
Yes, let's focus on this task, but...
If we're successful, then in years to come, we'll have a new road going through Mirkwood. And we can have trade and travelers cut all the way through without the use of the elf path, which, from my understanding, has been a bit out of the way for some people.
A bit. Yeah, it has.
Well,
it'd be a great thing if we can accomplish it.
Let's get to work.
Alrighty.
Hi. You guys have been walking for some time. Nela out.
Haru is just, as we're walking, he's just kind of circling above us slowly as we keep progressing. Yeah. He's kind of
as he does.
Lookout. Yep.
Thea pops out of a bush. Bird!
That's the real reason. Crazy. That's the real reason Nela sent her home.
I swear, it's the bird. It's the bird.
It's just Haru.
Naila's like, yeah, take some vacation.
Go home.
I'll call
Go
you.
home.
I'll call you. Don't come back until I sent out. You need some rest.
You got your whole life ahead of you.
With Nela out in front, she seems to have found a fairly easy path, despite the terrain all around being thick wood and almost bog and marsh-like. She has found a small but dry path that seems easier than the rest of the surroundings, as you guys are able to move fairly quickly north through Mirkwood. Your guide has done well.
Hey.
Heyo.
But as you progress over the next probably day and a half, Beaufrey goes on talking about the Old Forest Road, how it was initially built by the dwarves, and great spells were cast on the road itself to keep it sort of intact, and the very feeling of being in there seemed to be of safety and almost like you were in a dwarven tunnel itself, just straight through the heart of Mirkwood. And that's dotted alongside the road across its all 200 miles. That way stations and forts with some pretty decent keeps were erected to keep watch over travelers, make sure everything was protected, and give them safe places to sleep and rest as they make their journey across Mirkwood. Though as the wars came in the past, the road ended up abandoned, and eventually the Great Wood took over, and it has since been pretty much overgrown, and not much in terms of civilized life has resided in that section of the forest for some time. He goes on to express that beyond just sort of getting an understanding of what state the road and the forts themselves are in, seeing if they can be restored and how much effort that would take. He is looking for a staff known as the Staff of the Road Wardens that is supposedly kept in one of the old keeps. He describes the staff in some great detail based off of old dwarven records, and says that there is a legend, or not necessarily a legend, that it is said in the records that there's a compartment in that staff that kept detailed maps of the road itself, though he's not entirely sure if those would still be intact at this point in time.
Well, that seems significant enough.
How much further out do you think we are, Buffy?
Oh, we probably got another day ahead of us until we get some sort of landmark I could go off of. Through the next section of the forest, probably for another 10 or so miles, we might actually come across a remnant of the road itself, and from there we might be able to follow it.
Excellent. Well, for sure.
And we shall. And he places his staff sort of in the mud beneath him and continues walking on with Nela out in front.
Do there seem to be any like animal tracks around in general, or other tracks of
animal tracks?
Creatures? Yeah, just any activity throughout the area.
Go ahead and give me a survival check.
Hydrate or dehydrate.
Okay, I believe I
Big
get...
Jug makes its appearance.
Big Jug.
Do I get advantage? I don't remember.
You are currently in Western Mirkwood.
Oh, I probably don't. I'm not technically tracking anything either. So, okay. New character, new things, gotta keep it all on track.
Technically old character.
Whatever. Whoa.
So 22?
Yeah.
Okay. You look around looking for any sort of tracks. You hear sort of the snickering of squirrels, and you do see some deer tracks as well in this area. You do catch on that the deer tracks themselves taper off deeper into the forest, but you do find sort of about 10 to 20 feet from those tracks there appear to be wolf tracks as well. You get the feeling as a hunter that this is probably a pack of wolves tracking or stalking deer.
Okay. Well, nothing seems too out of the ordinary yet, other than your typical wildlife, but I'll keep an eye out.
And so will your cat.
Too. He said, I'll keep an eye out too. He actually wants the door open.
Vidar, go ahead and give me a perception check at advantage.
Oh, at advantage? Good.
Because I do believe that's what Paul gave you.
Technically, advantage would have been on the wisdom
use
save.
It already?
It should have been on the wisdom save, but I didn't use it there. So.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
Oh.
But even with advantage, I still
you
get
can take
a
it here.
9.
9. Okay.
I could. No, I don't think burning inspiration for this is safe.
Right.
I feel like there are
So
better
you-
things to save inspiration for than a perception check.
You press on for maybe another minute or so, and you soon realize that you've stumbled onto an encampment, a small one. There's a fire and a couple of tents that are like hidden amongst the trees and the brush, and there are several individuals around this encampment who seem to have taken notice of you.
Oh.
They're sort of look up and look in your direction as you sort of go beyond the threshold into this small clearing.
And they're just watching us?
Well, you literally just walked out and they're all just like, it's like that moment in time where it just sort of like freezes and everyone's just like walking like,
Right,
so they clearly like weren't expecting you.
Yeah.
It's a bit of an encampment, so it's not like they're just as surprised as you are.
Yeah,
right now.
Vidar, a hammer just on his shoulder because he was walking. He just says, "Howdy. Nice day for a stroll."
Oops.
They all just sort of like squint their eyes and they're slowly moving towards their weapons, but not like menacingly. They're just sort of resting their stuff. And they're going.
Vidar's just gonna shake his head. He says, "I wouldn't do that. There's no need for this to come to violence."
Nela looks up to where Haru is and just goes, "What the heck, man? Why didn't you tell us?"
Because only one person fills the role of lookout.
And as Vidar says that to add a little more oomph to the statement of "I wouldn't try that. There's no need for violence." He's just gonna slam his hammer down into the dirt and just try to like make a big mess of it, make a big show of it.
Okay, give me an intimidation check. Nela, go ahead and give me a lore check at
11.
advantage. 11.
At advantage, you said?
At advantage, yes.
Oh, too bad Nela's not that. All right, I am not Thea or Enelya.
14. Nela, you not so much recognize any one person in the group. Oh, you seem to recognize one person in this group who just sort of stands out to you based on stories you've heard. And the one that seems to be just slightly taller than the rest, sort of rough features and sort of like a reddish blonde beard, dressed in leathers and hides similar to what you would as well, but you recognize this person as Garbald Kinslayer.
Garbald?
Why do they always want to know how things are spelled?
For our notes that we
just wanna
meticulously
make sure
keep.
they're pronounced.
Garbald.
Garbald. Okay.
Kinslayer.
Pretty metal name. Sounds like an asshole.
You, Nela, you would know. He is technically an outlaw. Garbald is a woodman, and he was of the House of Woodland Hall. In the stories past, he was a great hunter and a warrior amongst Woodland Hall, and he was hunting the werewolf of Mirkwood years ago. He was on. No, sorry, I said that. He was on a hunt when they were attacked by the werewolf of Mirkwood. He was not hunting the werewolf of Mirkwood. He is not Johnny Big Balls. One immediately casts him in a different echelon of attitude than the other.
Yeah.
When he was young, he was on a hunt, and the werewolf of Mirkwood attacked his company. He bore a bitter hatred of the beast and loosed an arrow after arrow, trying to bring it down. The werewolf slipped back into the brush and disappeared from sight as he continued to fire. and everyone began to scatter, and that was sort of the last he was seen. The next morning, as people were examining what had happened, they had found the body of his sister.
Oof.
Lying in the bushes, with one of his arrows had struck her in the heart.
And that's why he's an outlaw?
That is why he's sort of been outcast with the name Kinslayer.
Gotcha.
He was stricken with guilt and horror and left, like sort of went off on his own. He fled Woodland Hall as a bit of an outcast, sort of driven from home. Sort of a story you could relate with. A bunch of other warriors eventually joined him. They do bear the mark of outlaw, but not because they necessarily go out of their way to be bandits or cause harm, but more or less because they aren't under the banner of any of the houses. So they're technically outside the law from here.
You're a Girebald, aren't you?
Are you here to chastise me too?
Nah, I don't have any issue with anything you are doing right now. However, I would like to tell you that this guy over here, and I point to Maethon, he took on that werewolf of Mirkwood. So, whatever. But past that, we have no issues with you as long as you don't have any issues with us.
Give me a traditions check at advantage.
Ooh.
Okay. I don't think I've ever... You're making me do rolls that she's not good at. What did I get?
Natural 20.
Oh,
snap!
I was looking away and I just looked back.
I have so many different tabs open, it's gonna take me a bit to...
MLG air horn. He sort of relaxes guard. Alright.
It would be a dick move if you redeem a reroll, Pyro.
Well, as long as you have no issues with us, I don't have any issues with you. We're just out here living our own lives. You're more than welcome to pass through, or even stay a bit if you wish. I would very much like to hear the story of how you tracked the werewolf of Mirkwood who has not been seen for decades. No.
Well, to be honest, it wasn't the werewolf of Mirkwood. It was just a very powerful warg named Negral.
Oh, and now you let go the exaggeration of the story. Whatever.
Stories are overrated.
If you want to see it.
Well, that would definitely make a lot more sense, the chieftain Nagra. Did you slay him?
I nearly died, but we came out victorious.
Oh, it's no less than what he deserved, that's for sure. What brings you this far north from Woodland Hall? As he sort of looks at Nela. As you are clearly guiding them this direction. What are you doing out here?
We're heading toward the Old Forest Road. Looking to do some work on it, trying to make it safe again for travel and trade.
That's certainly a hefty task. That road has seen better years.
Yeah, but we got some dwarves with us. It should be fine. But do you know of any suspicious activity around here that would make it difficult to do so?
Suspicious?
Anything in general other than the natural wildlife that's here?
He looks over at a couple of his companions, and they sort of look around and like shrug. We did come across a band of forest goblins the other day. They were fleeing west, which is quite abnormal for them. Normally, if they're retreating, they make for the mountains of Mirkwood. They must have come across something very terrifying to send them west, into the lands of men.
No kidding.
If you're heading deeper in the forest, I definitely would suggest you keep an eye out.
Vidar just says men and spits on the ground again.
Is there a problem, Master Dwarf?
Men ruined my home.
Well, for that, you have my sympathy.
I appreciate it.
Anyways, we appreciate your understanding. And, unless you guys want to take a quick break here and receive their hospitality, we can get going otherwise.
I'm good to go. I haven't even broken a sweat yet.
Probably best we keep moving.
There's goblins or worse up ahead. I'm itching for a fight.
Very well.
Very
Be
well
safe.
indeed.
To you as well, friends.
As your company marches onward further north into western Mirkwood, making for the Old Forest Road. At this point, you guys can all take off a ration from your inventory.
One ration. I love us.
Nela, remind me again your decreased DC for journey events.
It's a -2 for peril rating, since we started at least in the Western Eves, because that's the one known land I have in this journey.
Right.
Same thing applies to a -2 DC for the personal event tests.
For everybody?
So it doesn't really specify. It says your, so I don't know if that means specifically me or the company as a whole. So
because that's from your known lands, correct?
yes.
I feel like that would just be for you.
Okay.
You would get a lower DC in a land you know versus somebody else who wouldn't. The rest of the company still gets the regular DC, is how I'm interpreting that. I just wanted to hear it again to clarify. Okay.
All what I have written down right here, I don't know if the book goes into more about it, which I can double check. It
It's
just
fine.
says if any part of a journey passes through a land you know, which it does, the DC of your personal event tests are lowered by 2. So
Okay.
take
Just
as you
checking.
will.
Okay. Thank y'all.
Yeah.
You guys continue onward, and after several hours, as you probably are nearing the point of your destination, in the hopes of finding something to allow Beaufry to start examining and get you guys onto a right track. Look out. Vidar, go ahead and give me another perception check.
Well, let's see if this goes any better. Whoa!
Natural 20.
Damn.
I bet you that me being that loud, my neighbors could hear me.
Eh, they'll get over it. As you trek forward, as the day wanes on, it's getting pretty close to night. You catch the glimpses in the distance of a couple of flickering flames of like small torchlight that are moving about, and you hear some chattering, sort of echoing through the forest that you kind of recognize as goblin and orc.
We've got some orcs up ahead.
Now you're speaking my language.
Can I, when he says that, can I look down to try to see if I can locate any tracks from them?
Sure, give me a survival check.
I think that one is with advantage now.
You are still in Western Mirkwood.
yes. So it says. Oh my god, so many new features. Oh, there's that.
Up
but
ahead,
that's
maybe we
not
should just let them
survival.
pass.
But what if we let them pass and then they sneak up on us again?
I mean, there's plenty of other things in the forest that could be sneaking up on us right now.
Oh, okay. It says advantage on all survival checks when tracking others through the wilderness. Does this count?
Sure.
I'm just curious. Okay.
Sure.
It also says if I'm investigating or whatever. What did you say? Survival? Right.
Yes. You asked if they were
Sorry.
tracked.
24.
24. Yes, you see a couple of heavy footfalls and some smaller, wider gated ones that you recognize as Orc and Goblin.
Well, we can follow them or we can try to bypass them.
I mean, honestly, I would like to stroll in there and smash some heads.
I wouldn't mind a good fight.
But we could try sneaking around them.
It does not matter to me either way. I can easily track them now that I found their footprints here, or I do have ways of keeping us silent as we keep going. However, I am usually the one who prefers to take out somebody before they can potentially take me out later. So, I feel like majority is toward taking them out then.
How many does it look like there are?
So, sorry, go ahead.
I assume that was directed to me.
My bad.
From the distance, you see 3 torches, but that could place the bands probably around 6.
Yeah, we can handle 6.
Why don't we... If we move forward a little bit and track them, I can learn out more information. Because I think that's when all of this known land stuff about tracking things comes into play.
Wait, so you wanna just watch them?
No, we don't have to just watch them. We can get a little closer, so I can just confirm numbers and...
The torchlights seem to be making their way in your direction.
Oh. Or we can hide right now and do an ambush.
I'm not very good at hiding, but I could give it a shot.
Here, I can help you. So I'm going to, with that, I'm going to start, I'll go on my knees and start collecting, like, mud and dirt and whatnot. Oh no, wait, no, this is the wrong one. I'm going to do the trackless steps feature as a wanderer, where I'm gonna start I'll instruct everybody to hide in the area to set up for an ambush, and I'll cover everybody's like tracks and whatnot, because it says me specifically, I can no longer be tracked by any normal means through the wilderness, but then I can also cover the tracks of a number of companions equal to my wisdom modifier with a minimum of 1, so I can cover everybody's tracks right here.
Does it give like a time frame of how much time you need to do that?
No, but I would assume realistically it would take a few minutes, maybe 5 to 10.
Okay.
Unless you have a different discretion.
Okay.
You can certainly try to do that, I'll say, but in the phase of the journeying phase, finding a place to hide falls to the scout.
Okay.
Which I believe is me.
It is. So, Maethon, go ahead and give me an investigation check as Nela is prepping to sort of conceal your guys' movements.
Broke that natural 20 habit. Did a second ago.
All right. That is duly noted. It is very difficult to find anything worth being able to conceal you fully, so you've pretty much determined it's going to come down to Nela's ability to conceal you guys in plain sight.
I do have hide in plain sight as another feature, but I'll start with trackless steps.
I could just charge in there. I might be able to kill them all myself.
How many, you say that's equal to your wisdom mod, minimum of 1?
Yeah, so my wisdom
And how many
mod-
is that?
So I can cover tracks of up to 3 people,
Including yourself?
in addition to myself.
Lucky you.
That's
Yeah.
exactly the number of people we have.
Yep.
Exactly. Okay.
If Jake
All
were
right,
here,
so-
it'd be one too few.
As Nela is sort of trying to conceal everything, everybody go ahead and give me a stealth check at advantage
Camera is.
for her efforts.
Eh, 18's not bad.
Well, that's Beaufrey at a 17. Alright, so we have an 11, and an 18, a 17, and a 19.
I should have
17,
covered
18,
Maethon
19.
in mud.
Yep. As Nela is sort of scrambling to conceal you guys, she takes care of Beaufrey first, and then Vidar, and at this point she's pretty much covered in mud and gunk and is blending into the shadows itself. By the time she goes to make a move towards Maethon to get him situated, the goblins and the orcs have already came into the clearing and has sort of locked eyes on the lone man standing in the forest, and they draw their swords and sort of like point in his direction and go and just start charging at him. And that is where we're going to end tonight.
Aww.
And we will pick up next week rolling initiative.
I would like to
That's
fear.
like-
No, that's next week.
I would like to roll advantage, please.
I will say, if everybody wants to make a note just to hold me true, those that are currently stealthed, other than Maethon, will get a surprise round. So
I'm kind of like the bait.
yeah, you're the helpless princess tied to a tree.
I got such a script already now for next week.
You just got to
So that
remember
is
it
where
now.
we-
You might need to write it down.
Shit,
So that is where we will end tonight, and we'll pick up next week, rolling initiative and seeing how this fight goes over, as you have a mixture of goblins and orcs assailing one of your companions.
Fun.
We will see what happens as you guys continue down the path for the Old Forest Road and searching for the Staff of the Road Warden. So, thank you all for joining us this evening. Lindsay will be back again tomorrow night with our paint and chat, painting a dryad. So swing on by and check that out. And the rest of our schedule is as it is. You can find it below, or you can hit up Nightbot and keep up with us. We'll be back next week. And if you haven't heard, we have a sticker.
We have 4 stickers left.
Yep. Currently priced at pay what you want. Minimum of $2 to sort of a break even. Anything more than that, we will put right back into the stream to make more fun things. So thank you all for joining us. Thank you for your
stickers
support
and
for
a
this
dream.
year. Yep. Thank you for supporting us thus far. I hope you've enjoyed it. I know we have. But with that, the rest of us will see you all next week. So have a good night and keep rolling them dice.
Bye.
Shake them dice and roll them.